Um, Crew, thanks for joining. Want to keep this fairly quick. This is mostly I don't want to say congratulations, but oh, we lost the laughing man. That's all right. You guys have done a really good job with your networks so far, and as the bounty program evolves, as some things transition back to the flip side end, and as we continue to use the app, we want to steer more work, more money, more responsibility to you and your networks. I'm happy to talk a little bit about what that looks like. Marina's got a couple things to tease for next week. But the long and the short of it is we've seen really, really good results on the review side. And in the past, we've seen excellent results on the challenge creation side and the challenge solution side, solving bounties, solving challenges. So it's working really well. We want to do more of it. Happy to talk a little bit about what that looks like. And then also just to chat about network joining criteria. It's already started to happen. People are like, how do I join this network? GJ, can you be part of this network? And that's not my role. That's up to you as network leaders. So the question at hand is, to what extent are you open for business, and what criteria do you have for people who might join your various networks? But the high level view is we're going to continue to support network formation, and specifically the ones that you all have created, in every way possible, and to give you more opportunities to earn. That'll be sort of the golden key going forward. I'll wait for Marina to see what her message is.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you want me to jump in yet.
Yeah, feel free. Have at it.
So, to build on that, a couple of things that I wanted to sound off for with this group and just kind of let you know and also ask you some questions. We're planning a couple of things for networks in the coming about week, 10 days. One thing is still pertinent for this group, a little bit less pertinent for this group, but we want to run a week of.
Hello. Okay. Sorry, sir.
Oh, yeah, we have Socio. Excellent. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah.
Welcome
Thanks.
back. So yeah, there's a couple of things we're planning. One is we want to run a network kind of creation week, network celebration week, a week for kind of all things networks. And one thing that'll happen there is incentivizing new networks to be created, but also it will kind of put the spotlight on the networks that have already been existing and thriving. And there's, I think, two events that we want to do with that. One's just a community call to kick that off. And I apologize if you hear kind of a bell toy thingy because my cat's going to town with a toy. So the second thing is to close out that week, we want to do another dashboard teardown that we've been doing, but specifically kind of focused on networks. We had network reps, Eager Beavers specifically, in our last dashboard teardown. Elvis came on, was one of the judges, and kind of showed off how Eager Beavers do their review. Kind of showed off to the wider community, the analysts, an example of how Eager Beavers do their review. Showed off Eager Beavers, and we want to kind of do more of that in this networks focused dashboard teardown, and also maybe to use that as a way to audition new network members for those networks that want them. If you're kind of looking to add more good reviewers, we would be kind of happy to work with you to use that as a way to audition. And yeah, and another, so the one thing I wanted to share with you all is that Networks Week we're doing just to kind of, set the stage, let you know some ways to, we'll be showcasing networks and also figuring out a little bit more of onboarding to networks. And the second thing that I want to share is we want to kind of very deliberately use that dashboard teardown I think we're right now planning for the end of next week. So that's tentatively the date, which is the next Friday. Um, if you all are interested in your networks adding kind of really good vetted reviewers, we could try to figure out how to make that happen. And two ideas I have for that is one I already mentioned. putting any kind of applicants, candidates live onto a dashboard teardown to be a judge and kind of show off what they're made of, what they've got, how they evaluate work, how they evaluate dashboards. And the second way is to have reviewers or potential reviewers kind of first prove their skills by going through the golden ticket review system that DJ and Sandesh have spearheaded, and have those kind of new potential reviewers first have to do a review there and also kind of show their skill. So those are a couple of things on my end. Those are a couple of things I've been working on for this relevant for this group. And I even put together a little Google form. So if you as network leaders are kind of interested to onboard more, specifically reviewers, if you're a network that, for those networks that do reviews, put together a little Google form so you can let us know, and we'll work with you to set that up during this upcoming network week. And I'm going to drop that in the chat. And this is like really informal, just for us to figure out together with you if we want to pilot this and try and do this. And that is if you want to kind of grow your network that way. So it's completely optional and up to you. So that's my spiel, and I'm dropping the link in the chat, and that's all I've got.
I think I'll open it up to questions if folks want to know more specifics about why or how we're hoping to send more money and more opportunities networks direction. Any other questions? Happy to answer those at this point. If not, we can keep it fairly quick. You all are doing a great job. We don't have to take the entire time for me to tell you how great you are, but I'm happy to answer questions.
Yeah, so how are you going to send more opportunity and more money in the direction of networks?
All right, well, it's a simple enough question. With Metrics V2, the app, we will be able, as will anyone who creates a challenge, to control both who can answer a challenge, and it can be anyone who holds a given badge, in other words, a network member, and who can review it. And the bottom line is, at least as long as we retain like influence over the bulk of where challenges are going, increasingly it's going to be sending them to networks that have proven their skills. So Solar Core is an easy example. Watchman Salisawi, Eager Beavers for review, because it works. If other networks come up that end up doing it a really good job over time, that's great. But ultimately, I would like every challenge to be reviewed by a reviewer network. And for most challenges to be available to, even if it's a broader network, to be available to a network as opposed to just available to everyone. So the bottom line is more opportunities are going to be network gated. And again, it's because we are raising the quality bar once again. A lot of people aren't going to like that, but it's the necessity of the market, and it's also just time, right? The program has been live for long enough. It's time to really dial up the quality that we're looking for. And all of you have been leaders in pointing out the various deficiencies of a lot of the submissions we've gotten. And so this will be the next step toward making some of that happen. What that means is, if you're in a network, you have more opportunities to earn. You know, that's the long and short of it.
Okay, well, but for sponsors, aside from the reputation, which is going to build up over time, how will they know what network is best for them?
Yeah, that's a great question. For challenges where the ecosystem team at Flipside is doing it, it really is going to be who do they know, but also what networks are available. And this is why we're doing the network creation stuff next week. It's going to give folks a chance to join groups and advertise themselves. So here's our portfolio. Hey, we made a Gitbook page. Hey, we made a Twitter handle. Or, hey, there's only 3 or 4 of us, but here are examples of our best work. Here are testimonials. I would love for networks to advertise themselves a little bit, or at least at a minimum, have a simple page with, here's my best work, which is also, incidentally, a really important thing to get a full-time job in the space. So ultimately, it's up to analysts and analyst networks to advertise themselves. In the short term, though, it is going to go back to being, hey, we know who does really good work. We can check submission scores. We can check review quality. And so the networks that we know about, which is your networks, are going to get the bulk of the opportunities. Over time, it may get more competitive, but it may not. We'll see. As I said, I would love for networks to advertise, here's why you should join us, or here's why you should hire us. Here is why we're ahead of the pack. Here are the things that we do that ensure quality. You all are already doing that work. It's just about sharing the quality standards that you've implemented.
Okay, in my case, in the case of the Solar Code, one of the challenges with the current app is that you cannot, or rather that you can only make payments on Polygon, which is a bit of a difficult when you have a network focused on just a different network, in our case Solana. So is the V2 gonna solve any of that, or?
Yeah, we are working on cross-chain payments. I don't want to commit the feature team, but yeah, cross-chain stuff is in the works. It may not launch with V2 of the app, at least not immediately. That's a reasonable question. I'm thinking about if there's anything we can do to speed that up. Let me, go back to the team and find out how the cross-chain payment stuff is going. It won't surprise you to learn that it's complicated.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Other questions? As a practical thing, I will be taking a look at badges and making sure that if everybody in your network has a badge, that they have access to a number of different channels, and if they don't, that we'll get them one. And then let me know, just from your experience, if there are other things that you want to see, if we can make it easier for your networks to operate. I'm very, very open to feedback here. This is experimental, but we see a good thing going and we want to keep it going. Marina, anything you want to add?
Yeah, a quick question for everyone. We'll be doing the kickoff community call for all the things networks. I think we're planning this Friday.
I will assume that's a no. All right, crew. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for making. Oh, there we go.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I think for a second there it wasn't working. Sorry. I was going to let you all here know or ask you. We'll be doing the community call to kick off this network's creation kind of period network celebration week. I think that community call is this Friday, tentative, and then the dashboard teardown is next Friday. So for this Friday's community call, would love to have you all there, and we'll make sure to shout out specific networks, and I think we'll try to kind of really I'll work on really emphasizing kind of what each of your networks have done, and if you will want to kind of unmute and say hello, you'll be welcome to. And I'll share that in the network leads chat as well for kind of everyone to think about that. But we'd love to have you join, and I'll work on kind of featuring all the great networks there, and we'll give you a chance to wave at everyone, say hello, do a little bit of promotion of your network if you like.
Yeah, and do let us know if you really are looking to add people and add firepower, or even if you want to add people by ask them, hey, like, we need you to help promote us. We need you to help add to our Git book. We need you to help make us, a dashboard. Like, that's perfectly fair game. If you're happy where you are with your members, let me know that too. Let us know that. We won't force anybody to grow. If you're doing a great job and you're happy with it, that's fine. But if you want to expand your reach or expand your skill set, capabilities, and the services you offer, we're here to help with that. All right, crew. I think we'll wrap up 5 minutes early. Appreciate you all as always. Look forward to a network-driven future.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, DJ. It's good to see you all here.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Sorry for last minute thing.
Hey, the
What's
last
the
email.
DAO's? Yeah, here. what's the DAO stance on like some certain text that you can clearly tell are AI generated or like ChatGPT or whatever?
It's a good question. We don't have a DAO-wide stance here as mine. It is, I want to say it's fine. It's fine if the text is good, if it's accurate. We should encourage people at every opportunity to mention if they are using ChatGPT or an equivalent to assist for their submissions, but it's not grounds for disqualification, nor is it plagiarism. It's got to be good though. If it's wrong, then I would really hammer somebody. I'd have to go back and look at sort of the rubric that we all sort of regenerated. But if you're going to use it, it had certainly better be right. Otherwise, it casts a lot of doubt on the entire rest of the dashboard. That said, it's not banned by any means. It's another tool that people can and should be using to take a lot of the heavy lifting out of the work. Ultimately, there may be a conversation here. The majority of the community may feel differently than me, but I have no problems with it. Again, with the caveat that if it's super obvious that it's stilted language, or if the conclusions are wrong, or it's a really high level summary, I would absolutely wallop that going through the grading process. It verges on unprofessional. If it's skillfully done, if it's done well, if it adds to the dashboard, fine. Marina, I'm curious if you disagree, also Sandesh.
I really agree. I think good communication is good communication and bad communication is bad. And whether it's done by a human or written by ChatGPT, it's kind of similar standards for me as well. I do like, GJ, what you suggested with people making that explicit that they used it. I think that just adds that dimension and just kind of like a good general practice. But I think ultimately it's about how A, correct, and B, kind of effective that communication of like insights is. And if it's human or kind of augmented human, I wouldn't say that matters.
Up till now, I've used it fairly extensively. I would be pretty surprised if a GPT driven analysis can outperform any of you, for example. There are absolutely elements where it can be useful to brainstorm, to refine your text, to spell check. I think most analysts are going to end up using it to create walls of text, and I would love to see those lose all the points they can possibly lose. But again, there is some scope out there for people to use it well and effectively. And so for that reason, that would be my measuring stick. Does that answer the question?
Yep, kind of. Plus, I'll try and find the example from the Watchman thread. Like, it wasn't even on or regarding the bounty prop. Like, the person had just written 2 random stories, which, like, the whole paragraphs was just felt something absurd. Like, I don't think a human would have spent time writing it. So, yeah, Plavo highlighted the example. Yeah. So,
yeah, that was
I'll
like
try
a
and find that
perfect.
example. Yeah, and we can. Like, it was something like a story about DeFi or something. So I'll try and discuss it in the reviews channel openly, like what everyone thinks about that.
Sure, that's
I
fair.
need to find where that submission was. Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm curious.
Yeah, GJ. So what you said is right. We should maybe ask the analyst to mention that they've used GPT, but it should be rather like a tool rather than asking you to write the entire analysis.
I mean, ultimately, if it writes the entire analysis, it's not going to be good. That's what it comes down to. But can it help?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's take that and sort of move that forward. I do want to read this story, though. I'm curious if I'll change my tune after I see an actual example.
Let me find it. I think I know where it is. I'll tag you once I get it.
Cool. Other questions? That was a good one. Just waiting for Socio to finish the message. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a really good point. The language barrier is a tricky one. I know it's a burden for a lot of folks. I also think, honestly, one of the most useful things for it is just, hey, ChatGPT, I wrote this, make it better. That's perfectly legitimate. And something I wish more people would actually do. Make it clearer, make it sharper, more concise, suggest other avenues for insights. One of the things that most people struggle with is the why, not the what. Why is this interesting? And having a co-pilot can really help with that. So feel free, I'll drop a comment about that after I read the story, but I might drop some notes elsewhere, and feel free to share your own opinions on it as well. Bottom line, anything that we can do to help folks get better without having to work significantly more, we want to do. And in a lot of cases, that's getting rid of stuff that is clogging up dashboard, that's not adding new stuff. Crew, I'm going to drop. Thank you all for coming. Look forward to Networks Week. Let us know what we can do to help support you. And if you want to start, getting opportunities elsewhere, or if you want your network to take on additional responsibilities, you know where to find me.
Thank you, GJ. Thanks all.
Yeah,
See
and thanks,
you.
Marina, for putting this together as well.
Happy to. See you all soon.
Bye, take care.
Bye everyone.
See you, everyone.